Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, depending where you're joining us in the world. And welcome to another Decrypting Crypto live stream, where we bring you the latest news, of what's happening in the crypto world, the latest Twitter highlights, market analysis, adoption, and just overall general financial literacy education. My name is Wasim. I'm one of the co-hosts here today, and we've got myself and Matt, while Michael is enjoying his holiday, and wishing him a happy birthday. It's Michael's birthday today, so reach out to him, send him a message. He's enjoying his time over in Amsterdam. Wish you were here, Michael. Actually, you probably don't wish you were here or enjoying your time over there. So shout out to you, Michael. All right, let's get started, guys. So today we're going to look into, with the news highlights, we'll get straight into the news highlights. We've got three arrows exposed as Voyager Digital slashes daily withdrawal limit by more than 50%. So Voyager Digital is a platform, is an American-based, New York-based company that has trading platform, and they've lent Three Arrows quite a lot of stable coins and Bitcoin. And now that Three Arrows are having some challenges paying off their debt, Voyager Digital is now giving them a default notice because they haven't been able to pay their debt. So over the past few weeks, what we've seen is a lot of these centralized exchanges that were supposed to be giving fixed yield returns and whatnot are struggling through this bear market. This is obvious as well. This is just all these platforms being washed out and getting out all the bad actors out of crypto, so that now moving forward as to the new to our next bull cycle, we'll probably have much cleaner foundation. Voyager Digital has already given Three Arrows a default notice today. So this article is a couple of days old, and they said they're about to give them a default notice. And because of all the money that's outstanding with Three Arrows, they've actually had to reduce any withdrawals from $25,000 a day down to $10,000 a day. Moving on to the British Member of Parliament says no country can stop the crypto revolution. So this British Parliament member, Matt Hancock, has called for a liberal crypto regulation. So he's basically saying that he hates it when lawmakers try and control what people can do with their money, and that cryptocurrencies is way beyond the control of governments, and that governments should be looking to have liberal liberal regulation to allow crypto adoption. Because if Western countries keep fighting against crypto and keep pushing back, what we're seeing is a lot of the developing countries taking the lead in adopting crypto, as we're going to see today with a lot of Latin Americans and whatnot. So they said, even though we've had a crash with Luna and the USDT, this is just washing out the bad actors, and the underlying technology is so powerful. He also went on to say, just because we had the dot-com bubble crash back in 2001, we didn't discredit the internet as a technology, and crypto is no different. Just because we're going through a bear market right now, there's a lot of actors being washed out, it doesn't mean the underlying technology is not powerful and it's not here to stay. So that's his main message, and hopefully the next bull run we're going to see some really, really good returns. Moving over, Celsius assets could be purchased by Goldman Sachs as the leading investor group looks at buying over $2 billion of Celsius assets, as Celsius is facing some major trouble. So Celsius has gone out to some large companies like Deloitte and so forth to get some advice on what they should be doing with the financial situation they're in. As most of you guys know, Celsius stopped withdrawals on their platform a couple of weeks ago, citing that extreme market conditions has caused that, and they are trying to work out what they're going to do. This is what happens when companies get over leveraged and they're not open about what they're doing. And then when the bear market comes, they get shown for who they are. As Warren Buffett says, when the tide goes out, you see who's been swimming naked. And this is what we're seeing right now. So what they're looking at now, Goldman Sachs is looking at buying over $12 billion. Well, I think there's around $12 billion of assets from Celsius for a discounted price of $2 billion. This is how bad it can get in the bear market, which means This is why it's so important that we have someone who's guiding us and learning the right way to invest so that we diversify in different assets. Now, look, we as a company, we had funds in Celsius. They seem like a good company, but we always teach diversification. We never put all our assets in one place. So when things like this happen in the bear market, we can take on a hit and continue with our investments. Now, moving on, the crypto winter is just like previous one, says FTX US president. So FTX is a very large exchange, and the US president has said that even though we are seeing some macro conditions that we've never seen in the past, we are in really unprecedented times because not only Bitcoin has never really been through a global financial crisis or recession. This is the first time that Bitcoin has been has to navigate its way through that. We're still seeing very similar action, very similar reminiscence from previous bear markets. And what he still says is, even though we are through a bear market that's similar to 2018, there's still an enormous amount of venture capital flowing into crypto, which we think will bolster the ecosystem as these companies come out with new products and new services, and they'll eventually bring crypto back, the crypto world back. So even though we are in a bear market, guys, we said this over and over again. This is the time to get involved. If you're not involved in crypto, it's the best time to start learning, best time to get involved, because investments being made in the bear market will create generational wealth in the bull market. So best time to get started now, guys. If you are interested, can we get the Decrypting Crypto banner up, please, Matt, so that people will know how to get on there. And now the next one is crypto markets gain over $133 billion in a week, regaining 16% of its capitalization. Now, what we're seeing here is that some people are talking that the bottom is in. We've seen the bottom. We could be looking at a reversal. We're not out of the woods yet. There's still a lot of pain coming. But what we're seeing is now, even though the crypto market cap, or the crypto market overall, has been taking a big hit, over the past week we've seen over $130 billion come back into the market, because as the bear market continues, more and more people taking interest, more and more people understanding that this is the time to get involved. And then moving over to you, Matt, with the Twitter highlights.
Thank you, Sim. Alrighty, let's get into the Twitter highlights, starting with Will Clemente, who said Bitcoin is incredibly cheap right now. It is only traded this far below the 200-day trend, and its aggregated cost basis for 3% of its entire existence. Now, that being said, it is true, Bitcoin has rarely stayed under its 200 period moving average. The last few times were obviously highlighted in his Twitter post by those green vertical bars. And it is something that I will cover in the market update. But I do think that obviously over the past couple of weeks, it has been a good time to DCA, just in case it is the bottom. I still personally think that we will go a bit lower, but Bitcoin has proven itself over the last 10 years to be supported around about that 200 period moving average. The only thing is, this is the first time that we're possibly going to be in a recession whilst having Bitcoin. So maybe the 200 period moving average doesn't act as support as much as previous people or people like Will Clemente believe. Moving on to Ben Armstrong. If you haven't figured this out by now, you should be staying away from off-chain staking on anything. So basically, it means avoid, exchanges and the staking on exchanges. The safest way to stake right now is directly staking your assets on chain. There are staking options where your funds never leave your wallet, and a lot of funds right now are being taken off exchanges and stored in self-custody. And this is for added safety in the bear market. Now, if you're someone that does invest in crypto, and doesn't matter how much you have, I definitely recommend you purchase yourself a Ledger or a Trezor to keep your crypto off exchanges and away from hackers and prying eyes. Moving on to Benjamin Cohen, Bitcoin is still sitting below the 200-week simple moving average. So he's just basically reiterating what Will Clemente said. And the last time this happened was during the COVID dump back in March 2020. It's another indication that we are in a spot where generational wealth can be made by buying, and the safest way to do so is DCAing, because obviously, like I said, we could possibly have seen the bottom at 17,600. I know a lot of people are looking for that Celsius capitulation event down at around 14,000. But as Wasim spoke about, looks like Goldman Sachs might be coming to the rescue and taking Celsius over and helping them out with this issue that they're currently having. Moving on to plan B, when money is politicized and weaponized like fiat, USD, euro, it loses its monetary function. It becomes harder to use politicized and weaponized money for trade, business, and investment because it is tracked, seized, debased. Start using this Bitcoin for trade, business, and investment. Alrighty, so basically he's highlighting that the US dollar as the world reserve currency is being abused and used to manipulate markets. Now, the Federal Reserve is basically the most powerful entity in the financial world. It can move global markets with its decisions, and Bitcoin is the asset that is a stake against high inflation. People are starting to realize that holding fiat is losing proposition. So if you live in countries like Venezuela or recently Lebanon, you don't want to be holding fiat, because if you get fiat one day, the next day it could be worth half its price. So a lot of people, as soon as they're getting sort of cash, are trying to spend it on the same day because they don't know what it's going to be worth the following day. Lastly, here from Da Vinci, there are more than 10 billion troys of ounces of gold, that 25 million 400 ounces bars, and 50 million new ounces of gold added each year. How many Bitcoin exist? Well, basically, he's just saying that we can continuously find gold. Elon Musk is talking about finding gold on asteroids and things like that, but there will never be more than 21 million Bitcoin. Now, if you don't know who Da Vinci is, he's the guy. He made a pretty simple YouTube video many years ago telling everyone to buy Bitcoin when it was at about $1. Now, obviously, I said that there's 21 million Bitcoin that will ever be mined, but it's it's been said that roughly about 25% of that has been lost. From the last 10 years, people losing wallets, people losing secret phrases, people losing their computers that they were hosting it on, people thinking that it wasn't going to be worth anything and therefore losing it, part of the dark web or other ways that they could have lost it. But basically, the next halving is in 2024, and we are basically halfway. We're halfway between the last halving and this halving, and normally the halfway mark has been the bottom of the bear market, and we're going to go through some technical analysis in a second. Alrighty, that is it for the Twitter highlights. We're going to go back over to Wasim for some adoption.
Yeah, thank you, Matt. And look, what I love about, first of all, your comment about Lebanon. As someone who's of Lebanese heritage, I was born there and raised here in Australia. I can tell you that many Lebanese people are now, I think it's like over 75% of Lebanese people in Lebanon are living below the poverty line because the government has gone bankrupt. And people have lost hundreds and millions of dollars overnight because the banks couldn't pay them out. And also, just around Da Vinci, I watched a video of Da Vinci, the one that Matt was talking about, where he was just basically begging people to put $1 into crypto back in 2013, into Bitcoin specifically. He even went out and said to people back then that if anybody puts $1,000 into Bitcoin, he will back it personally with gold and silver. And the funny thing is, only 5 people took him up on that offer, and those 5 people thanked him, and some of them even given him 100 Bitcoin as a thank you. Imagine seeing that video back then and not actually anything then, and how much you'd be kicking yourself right now. The opportunity is still here, guys. It's still time for us. That's the video right there. I love that video. Look it up. Is the Bitcoin update? Just buy $1 worth of Bitcoin, please. It's mind-boggling how many people have seen that video and how many people took action. I wish I saw that video back then. I didn't. But anyway, back to the adoption highlight, guys. The main message there is just get in now, because there's still big opportunity. So looking at luxury brands, and again, I say this almost every single week. There hasn't been, I think in the past, we've done 12 live streams, and maybe 8 out of those 12, we've spoken about a luxury brand adopting crypto in one way or another, either through payment or something else. Now, Salvatore Ferragamo, If I say that wrong, my wife is Italian. She'll slap me out if I say that wrong. They're opening a store in New York City, in Soho, and what they're doing is their customers can go in and mint free NFTs. There's only 256 NFTs that they're doing. They've partnered up with an NFT artist called, I hope I say his name right, Shakespeare, and he creates psychedelic 3D digital arts. So they've partnered up with him where their customers can go in and then a little video, then a mirrored booth. They create their own NFT, they mint it, and they take it with them. This is just showing more and more how many ways crypto can actually allow crypto adoption is coming to the market. And as more and more demand is coming, more and more brands are looking at how they can provide these services. Now, this is going to be like a cool experience for their customers, going to attract a lot of people. They get a video of themselves creating the NFT, they get a copy, they get the NFT. NFTs are not just digital arts. They do have a lot of utilities. Some stores are actually giving away like tickets with them, or their holders will have special things that go with the NFTs. So again, showing that more and more businesses are looking at adopting crypto because the demand is there, regardless of whether we're in a bear market or not. The next one is US Hispanic grocery store will install more than 50 cryptocurrency ATMs. So the store is called Cardenas Market. It's obviously a Hispanic grocery store all over America. I think they've got like 50 stores across Nevada, California, Arizona. And they are going to now be installing cryptocurrency ATMs where their customers can go in and buy and sell crypto, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and over 40 different cryptocurrencies because they're realizing the demand for it. People are asking for it, they're servicing their customers, and these are the type of businesses that are going to thrive in the coming new age with cryptocurrencies. So kudos to them. If you are in America, look out for these. If you do see one, please send us a photo and maybe we'll put it up in here on our live stream. Next one is, more than 50% of Latin Americans have used crypto for payments. So a recent survey has shown that 51% of people who responded in Latin America have used cryptocurrencies for everyday things. Things they've used stable coins to buy everyday things that they usually do. They've also noted that 29% of them have noted that they're using less cash, and 95% of respondents said that they are going to use some form of the new digital payment in the coming year. Now, this is in contrary to Western world. We're seeing around 29%, 30 to 40% of people that are using or willing to use cryptocurrencies. Again, this is showing that the rise of new countries, developing countries who are looking at crypto to solve a lot of their problems when it comes to their financial systems, the lack of infrastructure they have, corruptions, and so forth. Digital currencies and cryptocurrencies are paving the way for them to become the forefront of the new digital age and digital financial system. Moving on, we have Shopify is expanding its online retailers NFT gated options. So what they've done here, Shopify, if you don't know what Shopify is, they allow small businesses to create e-commerce stores. So if you've got a product to sell and you want to create a quick, easy e-commerce store, you can go to Shopify, follow the prompts, and you have your own store up and running, have your products up, and it creates everything for you. Now, Shopify is not the first time that they started, dabbling with crypto and Web 3.0. They've had NFTs in the past, but now they're looking at creating stores that have NFT gated options. So that means if you hold the NFT, you get special discounts, you get special things in there. They can also get experiences like drops in their wallets. They can get tickets. They can get so many other options. Again, another great example of how NFTs and all of the utilities that they have is bringing more customer loyalty and attracting more and more customers to businesses. And that's it from the adoption highlight today. Let's move over to you, Matt, with the market analysis.
Thank you, Wasim. Alrighty, guys. So we're going to quickly have a look at the 200 period moving weekly average that we've spoken about in the tweets by Will Clemente and the Mr. Ben, what was his name again? I keep forgetting. Benjamin Cohen. There we are. I was going to call him Mr. something else. So basically, the purple line is the 200-week moving average, and you can see that on 4 occasions in the past, right here, we have gone below or touched the 200-period moving average, much like where we are now. Now, I did mention that the biggest difference compared to the previous iterations is there is rumors that we are entering a recession and then possibly maybe even a depression, which I don't think we will get to. We're a little bit more sophisticated than the 1920s, but you can clearly see that right now, if I do zoom in, that we have spent the last sort of 2 weeks below it. In previous iterations, here at the COVID crash, we did sort of wick below it. We did, open and close candles below it, but did seem to recover. This time here in 2018, we just touched it. Back here in 2015, we went below it. We were sort of hovering around that sort of price range for a fair few weeks. And then obviously back in 2015, we wicked below it, but did close that candle above. So it is going to be some interesting times. A lot of people are probably seeing this as the bottom. I don't think personally there's been enough fear in the market. I think that, I personally haven't been fearful, maybe because I've been in the space for a while. I would probably have to speak to a lot of our retail clients, find out what their sentiment is. And I think from a few comments and posts that they are a little bit, upset with the market and, weary and possibly fearful. So because we have the ability to educate beginners, it's always great for us to talk to them on a weekly basis to just get to understand what their mindset is, because usually their mindset tells us when the market will reverse, especially if they're talking about, wanting to sell and, cut their losses here and maybe buy back lower. This is, perfect bear trap where it seems like everyone's talking about going lower, and really this was the low point of this bear market, and we just slowly trickle sideways for a bit and then move along. I do want to point out these horizontal blue lines. This is each time that we have had a halving in Bitcoin, where the rewards for the miners to complete the equations required to mine Bitcoin is halved. So it originally, I believe, started at 50 Bitcoins per block, then it went 25, then it was 12.5, and the next one will be around 6. And you can see that basically halfway through each of these blue lines was about the time that we hit the bear market bottom. So if I just go from the next halving to the bottom of the bear market, that was 658 days. The one after that was, I think, 550 days. Yep, about 550 days. And then the last one, where we currently are at, we are at 567 days. So looking at this type of TA, because, TA is important, because history does allow us to sometimes predict the future, even though, history doesn't repeat, it does rhyme. This could possibly be the bottom, but I just don't think we've had enough fear. I think something around, 14 to 10,000 could spark a lot of fear in the market, and especially in crypto. And I think that's where, a lot of whales are looking to scoop things up. More looking a little bit closer on the daily, we still have, let me bring up my chart because it's a little bit better. Just looking at things on the daily, we do still have this inverse head and shoulders that we have formed out. So if a lot of you guys do not know what an inverse head and shoulders is, where's my head and shoulders? There we go. It's where we have made the left shoulder, we've made the head, and then we've made the right shoulder. And normally what happens here is you take the length from the neckline to the top of the head. So I'm going to just do a quick measurement here. And then you bring that to the target area or the breakout area. But right now we've sort of come back, retouched that neckline once again. And the target zone is around 26,800 if we're using here. If we're going to about here where we've reclaimed, we can see that it's around 26,000. So let's just say 26,000 could be a possible target area in the short term. There could be some other confluences. Let's pull a quick fib from here to here. and you can see that we do have a golden pocket around that $26,000 mark. So could this be a bit of a dead cat bounce and then we sort of roll over and go down more, or could this be the start of creating a higher high? So we have the low, we have a high, we have a lower low, and then we've made a higher high, we've made now a lower high, and then could we possibly make a higher high once again and change the market trend? Because you've probably heard it before, the trend is your friend. Right now we're still in a downward bear market, but if we start breaking some of these local highs, it would sort of start smelling a bit like a reversal. But we have to wait and see what happens if we do come up here. It's still, a fair bit away. We're still $6,000 off, but that is obviously a large jump from here to here. You're looking at a 30% gain. So things are kind of looking okay in the short term. But yeah, there's still the trend is still down, so don't start FOMOing in. The best strategy if you're a beginner is still $2 cost average. Alrighty, that is it from me. I'll bring Wasim back in. Any sort of final thoughts or updates from you?
No, but that's all from me today. We've obviously discussed what's happening in the market. So yeah, that's it from me today, guys.
Okay, well, one last thing from me, guys. We've got some amazing new things that we are releasing for our clients as of next week. So in the next 1 to 2 weeks, please look out for a couple of releases that we're going to let you guys know about as well. If you obviously want to jump on any of our programs, you'll have access to some of these things. Really cool. Just some really cool things I'm really excited about. I know the whole team's really excited to let you guys know about it. And if you are a member, please make sure you jump on our update, which is on next Monday, I believe, Wasim, or Tuesday?
Next Monday.
Next Monday. We are releasing our new product on Monday. So if you're already a client, please look out for that. And if you're not an existing client, then pay attention to this page because we will be releasing that new product in just a couple of weeks.
Now, can you give us a bit of a teaser what that new product is going to allow people to do, though?
I don't know how much I can tell you, but let's just say you'll be able to follow what we as a business are doing when we're sort of entering the market and when we're exiting the market. So I know a lot of people are not sure if this is the bottom. Are we buying now? Are we selling now? But we have, something really special where you'll be able to sort of copy what we are doing, just to give you a little bit of a hint. We're really looking forward to releasing that in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, basically, guys, we're going to help our members grow their crypto bags in ways that is very, very simple. I mean, we are all about, you can tell from the brand, we're about decrypting crypto, about making it easy for the average individual. We understand that, with any new technology, it can be quite hard in the beginning for people to understand it. We saw that with the internet. Now we're finding ways in which we can make it easy for the average person to get in and be able to grow their bags over the next 2, 3 years, 4, 5 years, whatever it is, so they can really, really benefit from it. If you have any interest in crypto, or even if you're skeptical, jump in our Decrypting Crypto course. It's absolutely free. Get the basic understanding, and then you can make a decision on when you want to get in. That's it from me.
Thank you, guys, and we will see you on Friday.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.
Bye.
All right.